going on, guys? Ahmed here, back with another video. Today I'm very excited to bring you all my official ranking of the top 10 New York artists. So this is going to be my ranking of all the top New York artists for this 2020s decade so far. Couple things before we get started. Number one, the way I judged this was albums. So your catalog, how many albums have you made? Are those albums good? That sort of thing. Impact, so how have you impacted the New York scene? And also output, so singles, freestyles, deluxe albums, features, things of that nature. All of that is going to go into how I feel you are, how I'm going to rank you in the decade. Quick editor's note here. The list may seem a bit weird to some of you. I do want to also be clear before we get this video kicked off. I don't really count mainstream success. I feel like it gets really murky with how much you want to count mainstream success. And I want to give respect to the underground as well as the mainstream artists. And I do feel that everyone should earn their spot on the list for the quality of their music, not necessarily because just they make catchy songs. Nothing wrong with making catchy songs, but I want to be clear that mainstream success will not factor at all into my decision. Also, this list is going to slightly change throughout the years. So if somebody drops a better album, next year they may move up. If somebody maybe doesn't drop or drops a couple of mediocre features, their stock may go down. With all that being said, let's get started. Starting off at number 10, I have K-Flock. K-Flock is a extremely incredible rising star from New York, hailing from the Bronx. He, so far, while his albums haven't really done much to capture my appreciation, he has tons of hits and tons of YouTube sort of exclusives that are really, really good. It's really dope to see what he's been doing in the Bronx in terms of bringing more attention to the Bronx drill scene and giving a way out for people in the Bronx who are struggling in that area of poverty. He has definitely taken on the leader position and is definitely the best in that scene and has done a lot to bring out and put on for his city. So absolutely K-Flock, number 10. Number 9, we are going to have Coast Contra. And this was a last minute entry. Absolutely, these guys went crazy this year. I wish I got to review them a little bit more. I wish I got to review their albums and things of that nature. But Coast Contra has been absolutely killing it. Oh, and sorry, other disclaimer, there will be a few groups on here, or duos or groups. Generally, the way I do it is I kind of take the average between those two, but most of the time they're around the same level, so it doesn't really matter. They would have been next to each other if I separated them, but I just feel it's more convenient and I can fit more people on the list if I just group certain people together. So you'll see as we go along. But Coast Contra has been absolutely amazing this year, dropping 2 viral freestyles with Scenario and Never, as well as an incredible album this year that will definitely go into the top 10 albums. Excellent bars, performative, bringing back a very old school boom bap sound. And I love all the diversity and different voices they have on it, whether it be the Spanish dude, the storyteller. That, like I said, there's a straight up like a performer on there, absolutely killing it. Coast Contra, y'all, please tap in. I am so excited to see what they get into in these coming years because I think they have so much potential. I think they have so much skill and already this ability to express themselves artistically that is absolutely incredible. Also, I want to say about K-Flock, definitely I'm excited to see if he does get freed, what his new artistic expression will look like in the future of his career. Number 8, we have Rowdy Rebel, man. What can I say about this guy? Talk about a motherfucking comeback story, the real comeback story of New York. In jail for almost 6 years, or in jail for I think 6 years, comes back and just starts going crazy. Incredible cadence, incredible flows, hops on drill beats as if nothing happened, as if he got scooped in immediately into that drill wave. Dropped a great album this year, double album, dope concept, decently executed. Really enjoyed that this year. Has been dropping great features with people like A Boogie. Been doing his best to put on for Bobby Shmurda, and genuinely one of the stronger drill writers of this year, drill songwriters this year, and it's genuinely been inspiring to see him come from jail and really, again, pick off honestly stronger than he was when he was, like before he got locked up. It's kind of crazy to just see his run and see how well he's been doing. I feel like, again, he's already doing his thing, but he has even more potential. So much more can happen from him, and I'm so excited to see his trajectory within the next decade. That's Rowdy Rebel. Next, we have the General, 22G's. Now, I think 22G's is easily the second most underrated artist in New York right now. I don't know what happened. I feel like 22G's is an incredible rapper. The original drill artist from New York. The first person to really rap on these UK beats. Dropped an incredible first album with Growth and Development. Absolutely classic first album. Second album, Blicky Tape, wasn't, or I don't know if it's an album or a tape because it's called Blicky Tape, but his next project wasn't crazy about, so that's why he doesn't, get super high ratings from me, but has been really killing it. And god dang, is this guy an amazing rapper. His output has been insane with the Funk Flex freestyles, with the diss tracks, with that Back in Blood remix. Absolutely incredible stuff by 22G's. And he's one of them guys where, man, I'm telling you, if this dude drops another, something as good as Growth and Development, this dude could easily shoot up to top 5. I'm very happy to see 22G's absolutely killing it. And I feel like he is, again, one of those guys who's just an amazing rapper who we are blessed to have in New York. So, number 6, we have Joey Badass. I'm going to count Joey Badass in this list. To be clear, 2012 is about the latest I'll let you kind of start your artist, because I want to really celebrate the newer artists in New York as we go through this ranking. So, honorable mentions, of course, go to Nas, Nicki, and Dave East, and other people who have been killing it. But 2012 is about as far as I'll go back, and I feel like Joey Badass is definitely currently in his prime. Dropped an amazing album, 2000. The only reason, honestly, he's not any higher is just because I want to see more from him this decade. Of course, we all know that he's an amazing rapper. He did so much in the prior decade, but with more features, more freestyles, and more albums, this guy, again, could definitely move up on the tier list. One of the best lyricists we have in New York, period. Absolutely incredible. So much potential. And especially once he really starts getting into his creative bag, y'all gotta watch out. Y'all need to be careful. Absolutely incredible artist. And 2000, one of the strongest albums of the decade. The year of the decade in New York. So absolutely, Joey Badass killing it, number 6. All right, now we are getting into the top 5, and this is where stuff is gonna get a little bit controversial, but I gotta be real with who I am and how I feel about music. I gotta keep it 3,000%. Number 5, the most underrated artist in New York, Don motherfucking Q. Okay, I don't know what I can say about this dude. When you want to talk about a complete rapper firing on all cylinders, Don Q is it. Don Q is the definition. Let's talk about it. Cadences, crazy. Hit potential, crazy. Bars and rhyme schemes, up there with the best of them. I do wish his production would kind of improve a little bit, and that's maybe, I wish, he was a little bit more inventive. But other than that, this dude has been killing it. But most importantly, the reason why this guy is so high, and you all are going to see with these next 4 guys, is the difference is the output, right? He's been dropping the albums, of course. He's got 2 albums out so far, both of them gas. Corleone, one of the best albums this year, definitely gonna make it on my top 10 list. Absolutely killed it with that. But man's been dropping features. Man's been dropping freestyles. Absolutely, man's been dropping diss tracks. He packed TJ up. I'm mad because I'm late. You feel me? I tapped in with Corleone. I feel like I'm late. Absolutely killing it. Don Q, number 5. Number 4, this is going to be my first group, and I got to give it to the Winner Circle. I got to give it to the Winner Circle. I'm not too familiar with Eli Frost yet. I'm going to tap into his music more. Definitely the next time next time around this year. But just Sleepy Hollow and Chef G alone have been killing it. Chef G with the album output. This man dropped like 3 albums this year, and not many people could say that. Absolutely been killing it. And 2 out of those 3 albums were firing. From the can, of course. Similar to K-Flock, he is in prison, so it was good, but not. I think that kind of like K-Flock, there's a lot more that he could do once he's free. I don't know if he's free already. Sleepy Hollow, man, the impact that man has had bringing samples to drill, huge deal. Sleepy Hollow, absolutely incredible. Deep artist, really, you could tell man speaks from the heart. You feel me? I love the runs and melodies that he has in his drum music. Really creative, something different that not everybody is doing. And as a duo, from a chemistry perspective, stop. Don't even play with them. You feel me? Don't even play with them. Their impact is unmatched. The album Still Sleep is fire. Again, another incredible drill album this year. People feel like, oh, drill artists can't make albums. Drill artists are singles artists. Tap in to Still Sleep. Straight through incredible album. Classics all over that album. Great stuff. The Winner Circle duo, killing it. Now, we're at the top 3. And I have gone back and forth, and I've almost been dreading doing this video for this very reason. I've been going back and forth trying to figure out who truly is, 1 and 2, and I can't do it. Maybe y'all can let me know in the comments, but at this point, I got to give it a tie. I got to give it a tie between Griselda and Fabio Foreign. First, let's talk about Griselda. I wouldn't say they're the most underrated because I feel like from a critical acclaim perspective, they definitely get their flowers. I just feel like, they don't have the most unanimous, they don't have the biggest hits, right? They're not the most mainstream artists, but they're definitely not underrated. People who listen to Griselda know that them because it's cold and it's for a reason. 10 out of 10 for albums, absolutely. Don't even get it twisted. There's an interview, and maybe I'll play it, where Conway is talking about how they had to work so much harder because they're from Buffalo, and if that fire ever meant something, oh my goodness, that is real. They have been dropping so many great projects, from God Don't Make Mistakes, Tana Talk 4, Llama Queen, From King to a God, the plug I met, so much, and I still need to. I'm not even done tapping in. You feel me? So absolutely, Griselda has been killing it. Right now, in terms of Griselda, I'm really just referring to Benny the Butcher and Conway the Machine. Westside Gunn, I feel like, is a very much a far older artist, and so I consider him more 2010s. And I need to tap in with Stove God Cooks more. I'm not the biggest fan of him yet, but I want to listen to his album and maybe give that a review at some point. But even just those 2 alone, absolutely fire. Just to kind of talk about why I have Fabio next to them, it's really weird because like they excel at opposite things. I feel like from the output perspective, like stuff outside your album, I feel like they're definitely a little bit weaker than Favi. But then from an album perspective, they're definitely stronger than Favi. I feel like from a lyrical perspective, they're also definitely stronger than Favi. But from a musical perspective, and especially from a versatility perspective, I feel like Favi is really kind of got them. And so, like I said, it's really neck and neck for me. Anything can happen. I feel like if Favi drops more and Griselda drops less, or if Griselda drops more and Favi, it's really neck and neck for me. But let's start talking about Favi. Yes, of course, Favi is one of my personal favorite rappers, but I'm not going to be biased or nothing like that. I'm just going to state the facts. And fact number one, you cannot take it away from this man. Favi is the hardest working artist in New York, period. Period. Okay? From the features to the freestyles to his own albums, this man has been everywhere. Okay? This man literally, like no one, and I feel like no one talks about this. Favi has made New York drill mainstream to a point that I don't feel like people have realized. They have made it. Favi is the sole person. He was the first person who made it mandatory for everybody to have a drill song on their album. The amount of features this man did. This man ended up on a goddamn Chris Brown album. He made it on a Kanye album, right? Absolutely one of the hardest working people, period, in New York. And that honestly spills over to his impact as well, because again, he is making drill mainstream. And not only that, he was one of the first people to really get on this sound and push it. And he brought the ad-libs, he brought the flows up. Absolutely incredible artist. And it's always nice, I think for me personally as a fan, it's so great because I feel like Favi has always had this potential in him. I've always felt like Favi could be one of the GOATs, but I always, especially back in them Big Drip days, I liked him back then, but I always felt like he was relying too much on his ad-libs, relying too much on just kind of the cadence. And so to see him now really finally bring up them bars, finally bring up the punchlines and grow and improve, absolutely warms my heart. I feel like Favi is really cashing in on his potential, and I don't even think he's done. I think he has more in him, believe it or not. So I don't know. I don't know in which direction I want to go in. I also feel like Fabio is a lot more inventive and gets a lot more points for being creative as opposed to Griselda, especially because again I feel like Favi is just he has added so much to his sound in a way that I don't feel like Griselda has truly added to the sound that they are using. They have their own, like they do their own thing, but I don't feel like they've added in the same way. But yeah, absolutely Fabio Foreign, incredible. And of course, number one, gots to be a motherfucking Boogie. What can you say about dude? What can you say about A Boogie, bro? 2 back-to-back great albums, a little interim before AVA, a dope little tape, you see me, in the middle, dope albums he's been dropping. The output has been crazy. A Boogie really a feature king if we're going to talk about it. A Boogie, he not like, he don't do as much as Favi, but A Boogie is really a feature killer if we're going to talk about it. Tiptoe, Roll Call, this man is different with the features, you feel me? Absolutely. And most importantly, I feel like A Boogie is the most impactful artist in New York. And that he is the one, he was the guy. When it came to melodic rap, he was the one guy. And he birthed people. You cannot say this about any other artist. There's so many artists who rip directly from his sound. There's nobody else who you can say that about. But absolutely, A Boogie is still the king of New York. I will say this though, it is, Favi, Don, Winner Circle, Griselda, everybody is nipping at his heels. I think that's the best part about this top 5 is that it can genuinely go in any direction. You know what I mean? I absolutely, feel like while A Boogie is at the top right now, he's not unbeatable. I feel like, his albums definitely could, be better. I feel like Griselda definitely has him beat on albums. But again, I just feel like from an impact perspective, from a output perspective, from a feature perspective, he's definitely killing it. And his albums, like I said, they're amazing, and the versatility is all the way there. And so, absolutely, A Boogie is still the king of New York, in my opinion, at least. You know what I'm saying? Even if we were to take just what he's done in 2020, he's been absolutely killing it. Honorable mentions definitely go to Lil Tecca, who had a wonderful album with We Love You Tecca too, but Virgo World was kind of whatever, and I feel like We Love You Tecca wasn't so good to the point where I feel like, oh my god, that's really him. And I feel like he hasn't had the output or impact to really mess with a K-Flock or a Coast Contra. Lil TJ, who I feel like at the beginning of the decade was okay, but really his quality has kind of been on a nosedive recently with songs like Beat the Odds and In My Head that I'm not really that big of a fan of. And definitely Cardi B, who would probably be on this list if it weren't for the fact that she hasn't dropped an album this year. And I think the biggest honorable mention, who goes to Jay Electronica, who I was heavily considering putting on this list, but ended up deciding not to, just because I feel like I don't want to overvalue. I didn't want to overvalue just catalog and just albums, especially when he's only dropped one album. And given that he hasn't really dropped any features or impacted the current landscape in the same way as other artists, I didn't feel quite comfortable putting him on there. But definitely, I mean, look, if Jay Electronica makes like a couple more albums, that man gonna end up on this list. So you feel me? Like it's definitely possible. But those are my honorable mentions. With that being said, thank you everybody for watching. I hope that you all enjoyed my list. Let me know what your picks are in the comments below. Who do you think has been really killing it in this decade so far? All right, peace, y'all.